Reincarnated as a demon with overwhelming power, he falls for a human girl at first sight. What is the story of this human demon Yuki? Watch till the end to know everything. The first episode opens outside the Demon King's castle, where we see a party of 4 heroes standing ready to invade and slay the Demon King, confident after researching the power held by the Demon King and his subordinates. As they enter the castle, they begin to attack this demon who calls himself Yuki. Upon seeing them, Yuki understands they are the heroes sent to kill the Demon King. He informs them that if they cannot defeat him, they won't reach the Demon King. Mikana uses her magic and attacks, but Yuki easily blocks it, mocking her and her spell. Revan then attacks but fails to land a hit. It's Yuga's turn, supported by Cecilia's magic, but even that powerful magic cannot harm him. At the end of the battle, the hero party collapses. When Yuki looks at them, he sees Cecilia and is instantly captivated by her beauty. Suddenly, his friends appear behind him, asking why he didn't kill them. Yuki gets angry because he told them to stay hidden, but they emerged after the situation calmed down, having noticed him staring at the girl. They look at him suggestively, wanting to know his plan. Yuki yells at them, saying he was thinking about what to do with them. When asked if he will kill them, he orders them to throw the heroes outside, near a nearby human village, leaving them there. 1 month later, the Demon King gathers with Zykel, Yuki, and other demons to discuss the hero party. Lately, the heroes have been returning to the castle repeatedly to kill the Demon King, only to be defeated by Yuki 13 times. The subordinates aren't afraid as long as Yuki handles them. The Demon King asks Yuki why he doesn't just kill them. Yuki hesitates, then replies that since they cannot defeat him, the weak ones aren't worth killing. The Demon King warns him that if he refuses to kill them, he will order his followers to deal with them. Yuki apologizes and assures the king he will handle it himself, then leaves. As he walks away, Yuki thinks to himself, if he lets the heroes survive again, his followers will be in danger. He is worried because although he possesses superhuman strength, the heroes are strong enough to defeat the Demon King. Meanwhile, the Demon King is focused on conquering the world and wants to end this issue next time. The hero party returns, fully prepared to defeat Yuki. Yuga and Revan charge him, but they can't affect him. Yuki uses his power and throws them far away. They are shocked by this barrier. Cecilia decides to heal them, while Mikana furiously attacks Yuki with a massive fireball, which has no effect. Once Cecilia finishes healing Yuga and Revan, Yuki mocks them, telling them to fight him as much as they want. It won't make a difference. He challenges them to sink back into darkness if they wish. At that moment, Yuga asks Cecilia to support him with her magic, which she does, granting Yuga great power concentrated in his holy sword. He strikes Yuki with all his might, but he cannot even scratch him. Despite everything, they still want to kill the Demon King. Yuki proposes a deal. Leave the priestess, Cecilia, with him, and he will allow the other 3 to pass and kill the Demon King. Yuga refuses, but Mikana urges him to agree, pointing out that they must defeat the Demon King, and Yuki has had many chances to kill them but hasn't. Yuga insists on refusing, as it doesn't guarantee their survival. However, Mikana argues that saving the entire world is more important than one priestess. Cecilia then speaks up, asking them to go kill the Demon King, assuring them she will be fine. Yuga promises they will return for her immediately after the king. Once they leave, Cecilia talks to Yuki, asking why he insisted on her staying. She doesn't believe her powers can harm him, but she vows to fight him to her last breath. She attacks him again but fails. Yuki asks her to please listen. He tells her his name and says if he wanted to kill her, he would have done so in their first encounter. Cecilia isn't entirely convinced, but wants to hear what he has to say. Yuki confesses that he was attracted to her from the very first sight and asks her out on a date. Cecilia is shocked, thinking he's trying to trick her. She attacks him again, but he doesn't fight back. He tells her that since she rejected him, he no longer cares about anything else. Even if he were to go out, he'd only be trapped in this room forever, allowed only to leave to attack human towns and villages, which he doesn't want to do. Cecilia refuses to believe him, arguing that the Demon King is trying to wipe out humanity. Yuki explains that although he looks like a demon, he was reincarnated from another world and has a human heart inside him. Cecilia is still confused. If that's true, why serve the Demon King? Yuki reveals that although he could defeat the Demon King, if he did, he would be crowned the next Demon King, which he doesn't want. He is stuck here, unable to act, but if he has to live this way, he prefers to end things. Then she appeared before him, and he loved her at first sight. Even after a month, he hasn't felt his alive since becoming a demon. Cecilia is moved by his words, realizing that despite his immense power, he possesses a human heart. She suggests he uses his strength to help others, and asks her to accompany her outside a castle to do so. The scene shifts to the Kingdom of Clarence, where the king is celebrating the hero party for defeating the Demon King, who had terrorized their people and sought world destruction. The king declares the next 3 days a holiday to honor their great victory, and calls for the people to celebrate their heroes to the fullest.
Meanwhile, Yuki is near the kingdom, overjoyed to have reached the capital where Cecilia lives. He breaks off one of his demon horns. We then see the carriage parading the heroes throughout the kingdom in celebration. Yuki enters the Adventurers Guild and asks the receptionist to sign him up. The clerk gives him a form to fill out with his name, age, and acceptance of responsibility should he die. Yuki fills it out and receives his guild card. The clerk explains that it starts at rank F and ends at rank S. The lowest rank is F and the highest is S. If you complete quests and build a good record, you will advance to the next rank. Reaching rank D will take at least a month. The clerk gives Yuki the card and tells him to keep it safe, as reissuing it takes 3 more days because the other staff are on holiday for the festival. He doesn't want to deal with reissuing it. Yuki takes the card, thanks him profusely, and returns to his room, counting the money he earned on his first day. He wants to raise his rank quickly to earn more money, aiming to reach a sufficient income to ask Cecilia out again. Yuki is happy and vows to do his best to make this love a reality, no matter the cost. The next day, Yuki goes to the guild and tells Kleiman he will accept another mission. Kleiman is suspicious because Yuki jumped from rank F to rank D in a week. He's clearly no ordinary person, but Kleiman verifies that there seems to be no cheating. Cecilia arrives and tells Kleiman to cancel the mission, then asks Yuki to come with her to talk. The scene shifts to a mansion. As Yuki gets out of a carriage, a guard attacks him, but Cecilia angrily stops the guard, telling him Yuki is her friend. Cecilia apologizes to Yuki. "I planned to meet you earlier. News about a beginner adventurer reaching rank D in the blink of an eye is spreading everywhere. I hoped all I needed was to find you. I want you to leave the Adventurers Guild. The hero defeated the Demon King, but that doesn't mean the danger is gone for good. Sovereignty wars are erupting between human nations. We see signs of this. Our hero has received many marriage proposals from other countries. Nations are using everything they have, magic, money, or marriage, to gather military power and human resources. You are climbing the adventurers' ranks at an incredible speed. You will reach rank S soon, and few in this country hold that rank. If this happens, other nations might notice you and exploit your demonic power, potentially using you as a tool for world conquest. I want you to lay low for a while. I wish I could hire you and pay you, but I don't have the funds to hire someone of rank S." Yuki tells her, "I will consider anyone who demands my service as an enemy, which would mean my life ends in the parallel world. But I have living expenses." Cecilia pleads with him to agree for the sake of the country's safety. Yuki reassures her that he will refuse all other women who propose marriage because he only wants her. Cecilia laughs, saying, "It seems I was worried for no reason. You can stay in the Adventurers Guild." Afterward, Cecilia's mother, Celia, arrives. She apologizes for the guard's rudeness and informs Yuki that Cecilia has received many marriage proposals. Yuki becomes very angry, as he loves Cecilia, and becomes even angrier upon learning the hero wants to marry her. Cecilia reassures him that she rejected all the offers and tells her mother not to discuss unnecessary matters. Celia then asks Yuki, "Since you admire Cecilia, why don't you just marry her?" Yuki apologizes, explaining, "I have already confessed my feelings to Cecilia, but she rejected me. I am currently working hard as an adventurer, and once I earn enough money, I plan to ask her again." Celia decides to test Yuki to understand his perspective, as she cannot easily hand over her daughter. "I don't want unwanted bugs gathering around my daughter. I want you to be a loyal friend to her." Cecilia tells Yuki, "It seems my mother likes you. I think that's great, but you look a little upset." Yuki tells her he wants to ask her for one favor. He wants to call her Cecilia without a title. She agrees, telling him she will also call him Yuki. And that concludes today's episode. Stay tuned for the next episodes. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get all our new content.
Hey friends, today we're going to summarize the anime about Yuki, the devil who fell in love with a human girl at first sight. Yes, you heard that right, guys. It's the truth. But before we start the anime, tell us in the comments what country you're watching from right now. The episode begins with Yuki fighting a lot of monsters in the forest. After finishing the fight, he collects cockatrice feathers to take with him to complete his mission. Carmen had told him that this mission would take at least a week, but he completed it in a single day, as it was very easy. Suddenly, a number of demons attack him, but he realizes they are his friends, Schick, Duke, and Happiness. They were his followers in the demon realm, and he's overjoyed to see them healthy. They ask him where he's been all this time, as he suddenly disappeared after the Demon King was defeated, and they were very worried about him. They notice he now looks human, and that his horns and wings are missing. Yuki asks them to calm down, explaining that he will tell them everything that happened. He confesses his love for the priestess Cecilia, who was in the hero's party, but she rejected him. That's why he now lives as a human adventurer under the human name Yuki. He tells them they are free to live their lives however they wish, but they all decide to stay with him no matter what. and they want to meet the human girl he fell for. Yuki refuses, explaining that they must hide their true forms in the human world. Duke quickly says that this is easy, as he managed to do it, so they can do it too, and everything will be fine. Yuki tells them to be ready for what's coming next, and then he proceeds to break Happiness's wings. They go to Cecilia's house and tell her what Yuki did. Cecilia gets angry at Yuki for acting so brutally. Even if Happiness wanted to look human, it wasn't right. Yuki apologizes, admitting she is absolutely right and that he acted foolishly. After that, Cecilia hosts them in her house. He tells her that they are Yuki's demonic followers, but she is surprised as they don't look like demons. Duke explains that he is a Dullahan, Happiness is a harpy, and Schick is a pixie. He says he could take off his head now to show her, but his armor and helmet are fused together. Yuki tells him to be quiet for a moment, as he talks too much. Duke tells him that what happened is Yuki's fault, then addresses Cecilia, saying he initially hated his commander, Yuki. Yuki was known to be a recluse. Even when the higher-ranking officer, Zakel, ordered him to go out and kill humans to get him out of his room, Yuki would angrily refuse, so Zakel eventually left him alone. However, this behavior was unacceptable for a devil, so Duke tried to forcefully correct his behavior, but Yuki turned the tables, gave him all these ideas, and now he is the way he is today. Cecilia is impressed that Duke respects his leader so much. Afterward, they look around for Happiness and Schick, but can't find them. They get very worried, and Yuki wishes they didn't enter the mansion, as they know they will get into trouble if anyone other than Cecilia finds out what happened to them. They call out for them everywhere, then find Schick sleeping on Cecilia's mother's lap. Yuki tells her that the boy is his friend, and apologizes if the boy caused any trouble for her. Cecilia's mother asks him not to worry, saying she loves children very much. She explains that Schick was running around the garden a lot, but he exhausted himself and fell asleep. Cecilia asks her about the girl who was with him, and her mother tells her that Sophia took her inside the house. The scene then shifts to Sophia with Happiness. Sophia made Happiness wear a maid's uniform, telling her she has great talent and to remember this talent. Cecilia and the others walk in just then, finding that Sophia has mistaken Happiness for their new maid. Yuki is very angry about this. Sophia apologizes, saying she thought she was the new maid who came to work there. She asks Happiness to go change her clothes, but Happiness refuses, saying she wants to work here at the mansion. Yuki is shocked by this, but they eventually agree to let Happiness become a maid there. Sophia decides to show her the servants' quarters. At the end of the day, Yuki and his friends leave the mansion. They wish their friend Happiness good luck in her new job and ask her to do her best. Cecilia's mother bids them farewell and asks them to always visit again. Cecilia's mother asks Yuki to take Cecilia somewhere on her next day off so they can go out and enjoy themselves, because she works as a priestess and has important relationships with important people. Yuki agrees. Later, we see Yuki waiting for Cecilia. When he sees her, he is stunned by her beauty. She tells him that her clothes are a disguise because people recognize her as a member of the Heroes Party, and fame causes too much trouble. Yuki tells her that she won't regret going out with him. They walk through the city, and Cecilia is impressed by the beautiful cakes, and also by the flowers and cats. She tells Yuki that she was feeling exhausted, but thanks to him, the fatigue is fading away. Then her friends spot her, and Hiro asks her why she doesn't join them and go out to enjoy her time with them. Cecilia apologizes, saying she's with Yuki today. Hiro takes Cecilia's hand, and they enter a shop. Mikana says angrily that this is the first day they go out on a date together, then turns to Yuki and wishes him and Cecilia success in their relationship. Yuki is happy when she says that, and it's clear she is a good girl. Afterward, Yuki thinks to himself that Cecilia rejected marrying the hero, and he is very interested in her, but he won't lose to the hero, even though he is handsome. Yuki enters the shop, and Cecilia apologizes for leaving him outside. He offers to buy her something as a gift. When Hiro hears them, he rushes over, telling her to choose whatever she wants, and Mikana too. Yuki finds a necklace and wants Cecilia to wear it, and she likes it a lot. But then, we see the foolish Hiro choose a hair ornament for her and try to put it on her hair. When her hat falls to the floor, the people in the shop see them and everyone rushes toward them. While Hiro was putting the hair ornament on Cecilia, her hat fell off. People in the shop recognized them, and they started chasing them. Yuki goes to look for Cecilia. While walking, he sees people gathered around Raven, but Yuki can't recall where he saw this handsome man before. A man tells Yuki, Don't you know him? He is the former swordsman of the hero's party who was promoted to the position of knight commander, and he is Raven Sama, the silent swordsman. Yuki tells the people that the hero is over there and the people leave. He tells Raven to take the opportunity to escape. He takes him and leaves. Yuki says goodbye and tells him to wear a disguise before roaming around next time. Raven stops him. Yuki is surprised by his voice and asks him, "Is that why you don't talk near others?" Raven asks him if he will not make fun of him because his voice is not manly. Yuki tells him that everyone has a trait they don't want others to point out, then thinks to himself, as a matter of fact, Yuki is a devil. Raven is surprised because most people make fun of his voice. Yuki asks him, "I won't make fun of you. Do you want me to do that?" Yuki tells him that he must go, but Raven stops him again and offers to be his friend, saying he is not obligated to if he doesn't want to. But the only people who didn't laugh after hearing his voice are his mother and brother. Yuki extends his hand and tells him that his name is Yuki, and he is happy to meet him. Raven thanks him. Yuki is annoyed because he doesn't have time to hang out here, then apologizes and leaves to look for Cecilia. Cecilia was walking and wondering if Yuki had gone home. While walking, she finds a child sitting on the ground crying and saying, "Mommy!" Cecilia sits next to the child and asks him to tend to whatever is hurting him first. She asks him, "Was your mother here with you?" The child tells her she left, then cries. Yuki arrives and tells the child to stop crying and that he will search everywhere until he finds his mother. Cecilia asks him what he is doing, and he tells her that he is doing it for the children. Then the child laughs and tells Yuki that he's in trouble. Yuki takes the child, and Yuki, Cecilia, and the child leave looking for the child's mother. While walking, Yuki tells her that she should go back home first. Hiro and Makana were looking for Cecilia. Makana asks him to leave because if people recognize them again, the place will become chaotic, and Cecilia has probably gone home. Hiro tells her that he is worried about Cecilia, unlike her, then leaves her and goes. While searching, he finds her with Yuki, the child, and the child's mother. The next day, Yuki asks if Cecilia is better. She tells him yes, but she is still fatigued every day, and yesterday's commotion seems to have pushed her to her limit. Yuki says it's his fault. She tells him it is not his fault at all. Cecilia's mother talks to Yuki, saying, "On the other hand, the hero, after getting Cecilia involved in that chaos, insisted on taking care of her. I don't even know how he found out." Sophia cut him off and managed to kick him out. Sophia says, "He shouldn't cause a commotion near the young lady." Yuki wonders to himself, who exactly is Sophia? Cecilia's mother tells him that Cecilia told her what he did for her and asks him, "Aren't you going to visit her?" Yuki goes with Sophia to Cecilia's room. Sophia tells her that Yuki has come to visit her. Cecilia asks her to wait a moment and not open the door. Sophia replies, "No need to worry, I hid the teddy bear." She asks Yuki to come in. He is surprised by Cecilia's room. Cecilia apologizes for her appearance. Yuki tells her that it was supposed to be her day off, and he tells her he didn't know she was tired. "It was wrong of me to take you from one place to another." Cecilia replies, "Let's just say it's your fault. You wasted my day off because of you." She asks him to go out with her on her next day off. Yuki is shocked by her words and thinks to himself, was that a promise for another date? Yuki stands up saying, "I failed yesterday, but that won't happen again. Leave it to me." He tells her to rest as much as she wants in her colorful room and to dream of the day she recovers while raising the ceiling of her expectations for their next outing. They laugh at each other. Cecilia gets sick. He asks her, "Are you okay?" Sophia comes from behind him and tells him, "Don't yell. You'll make the young lady's condition worse." She takes him outside. He asks Cecilia to take care of herself. Sophia then thanks him and kicks him out. Yuki goes outside and talks to himself, saying, "She's incredibly strong." On his way, he sees Raven. Yuki asks him what he's doing here. He tells him, "Cecilia called me. What about you?" "It's fine if you'd rather not answer." Raven asks him, "Can I ask for your advice?" Yuki replies, "If I can help you." Raven tells him that there is someone who likes him. Yuki is surprised and thinks to himself, "I didn't expect him to ask for love advice." Raven tells him, "I told her I wasn't confident about my voice. She didn't make fun of me. She said it was a beautiful voice and that she envied me for it." Yuki tells him, "She sounds nice. Is that why you fell in love with her?" Raven asks him, "What should I do? I'm not confident in my abilities." Yuki talks to himself, saying, "He's like a middle school student who reached adolescence, and he's very handsome." He asks Raven, "Don't you know yourself at all? You have a handsome face, and you're tall, plus you're a member of the heroes party that saved the world. Since she praised your voice, there's nothing to fear. You are amazing. Make your move. I know you can do it. Believe in yourself." Yuki then talks to himself again, saying, Darn it, I entered Chuni mode again. Raven thanks him, saying, "You helped me find my courage. I will confess my feelings to her." Yuki wishes him good luck. Raven leaves. Yuki wonders to himself, what was Raven doing here anyway? Then he realizes, oh, the girl Raven loves is Cecilia. And that's how today's episode ends. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to get all our new content. We continue our story seeing Yuki very upset, saying that he did this to himself by encouraging Raven to go and confess his love to Cecilia. He tells himself it is impossible for Cecilia to love Raven or date him, and he is confident that Cecilia loves only him. However, he remembers that they were previously on the hero team together, and thinks that perhaps a situation occurred between them that made Cecilia fall in love with Raven. He sits and imagines that they were in one of the magic caves, where Cecilia was exposed to danger and Raven intervened to save her, and from that moment she fell in love with him. But suddenly we see Raven returning, looking visibly frustrated. He thanks Yuki for encouraging him to go and confess his love to her, but tells him that it didn't yield any result at all, and wishes he could die. He runs quickly to the mansion to see Cecilia, but the maid, Sophia, tells him that she is sleeping now and asks him to leave. Yuki tells her that Raven was just here a moment ago, and she tells him that Raven was indeed here, but he came to meet Happiness. Yuki realizes that Raven came for Happiness, not Cecilia. He immediately goes to Happiness and tells her that Raven was there to confess his love to her, asking what her reaction was. She tells him that she refused to speak with him and didn't answer him, meaning she essentially rejected him. After that, Yuki goes to meet his assistants and is upset that Happiness rejected Raven, telling them that Raven is a very good person and also one of the hero team members. They tell him that Happiness hates humans very much and would never consider dating one of them. Duke then tells him about a situation that happened to her before, when she still had only one feather. A human came to hunt her, but Duke intervened and saved her, and since then she has hated humans and doesn't want to deal with them at all. However, Yuki's assistant tells Duke that it is impossible for her to hate all humans since she is currently working as a maid in Cecilia's mansion, adding that there must be good humans, and not all of them are evil. Yuki agrees with her opinion, saying that Raven is truly a kind character, and he is confident that if she spoke with him, she would definitely love him. Yuki then goes to the guild looking for Clement, but doesn't find him. He finds the other female employee there alone. She calls out to him, saying she knows he is looking for the guild vice president. He tells her no. He wants to meet Clement. She tells him that Clement is the guild vice president. Yuki is shocked because he didn't know this before. When he asks where he went, she tells him the matter was a secret, but she will tell him provided he doesn't tell anyone, revealing that he is currently in the hospital. Yuki takes some fruit and goes to visit him to check on him. Yuki is surprised by the amount of wounds on his chest. When he asks about the cause, Clement tells him it is due to romantic disputes with his wife, saying she did this to him and gave him a severe beating. Yuki asks the reason for the beating he received. Clement says that yesterday was their wedding anniversary, and he went to a gift shop to buy her a necklace, but unfortunately, he spent the whole day thinking about which one to buy until the shop closed and they kicked him out. Sadly, he went home without buying her any gift, and at that moment, he realized he had forgotten their anniversary. She then proceeded to give him a severe beating, completely crushing his bones. Yuki tells him that his wife is clearly a very strong woman. Clement says yes, she was a strong adventurer, and they were on the same team together, known as the couple that could never be defeated. Yuki offers to use his healing magic to cure his injuries, but Clement refuses, saying this is his chance to make his wife come to check on him and take care of him. The shock comes when Sophia enters to check on Clement, and Yuki realizes that Sophia is his wife. As soon as Clement sees her, he says, "Welcome, my dear love," but it is clear she is still holding a grudge and gives him a strong kick. Yuki is surprised that Sophia treats Clement so harshly. When they go outside, Yuki asks her about Cecilia and how she is doing. She tells him her health is good now and her temperature has dropped. When he asks to see her, she says she went out on a mission but needs a few days to rest. Before leaving, Yuki asks Sophia if girls really love gifts that much. She asks, "Did my husband say something to you?" He says no, it was just a passing question. She tells him yes, girls love gifts, but the price doesn't matter. What matters is the value of the gift. Later, Yuki goes to talk to Raven. On the way, he keeps imagining that after they get married, she will be waiting for him every day when he returns from work to prepare food and take care of him. When he arrives at Raven's house, he is surprised to find him sitting on the bed, looking extremely depressed. Raven tells Yuki that he knows everything, and knows that Happiness rejected him. But Yuki tells him that Happiness is a very kind girl, and he doesn't want him to despair from the first time, urging him to try many times. Raven asks him, "How do you know she is kind?" Yuki tells Raven that she was his friend in the past. He sits with Raven and asks him to tell him what happened, and how they met before. Raven begins to recount the story, saying that one day he was on a normal patrol and found 3 thugs trying to harass her. As soon as he intervened to help her, one of the thugs attacked him, but Raven gave him a kick that knocked him to the ground. They then realized he was one of the hero knights and decided to retreat and ran away. As soon as he made sure Happiness was okay, he left her and walked away, but Happiness immediately stopped him and thanked him for his help. Raven replied quite spontaneously that it was his duty, but of course his voice sounds like a girl's voice, so he was very embarrassed when he spoke. However, the shock was that Happiness told him his voice was very sweet, which made him fall in love with her. Before Happiness left, she thanked him for helping her for the second time, and since then, Raven has been in love with her and dreams of her every day. He says he knew she worked at Cecilia's mansion from her uniform, which is why he went to the mansion wanting to confess his love. Raven asks Yuki if he knows Cecilia, and Yuki says yes, and that he, just like Raven, is in love with her. Raven says, "That's why you take so many missions at the guild, to prove to everyone that you deserve Cecilia." After that, Yuki tells Raven not to be upset with Happiness because she went through a difficult experience in the past and needs some time to recover from it. Raven says, "I think I messed things up when I went and told her I loved her last time." Yuki tells him, "No, not at all. On the contrary, that was a very good move from you, and I don't want you to give up after the first time." They then take off and go to a women's accessory shop. Raven asks, "What are we doing here? All these gifts are for girls." Yuki tells him, "That's why I brought you here." Yuki goes toward a necklace that Cecilia had seen before and liked, and immediately buys it. He then looks at Raven and finds him standing in front of a collection of chains, deciding to buy one for Happiness. Yuki goes over and tells him that this chain would be very beautiful for Happiness. Raven asks, "Do you think Happiness won't be afraid if she accepts a gift from a stranger like me?" Yuki says, "Why are you blowing things out of proportion? I am confident she will be happy and pleased as soon as she sees your gift." They say Happiness will like the chain because it is the same color as her hair. Raven decides to buy the chain, saying, "God help us." Yuki is surprised that Raven communicates with the saleswoman by writing because his voice is high-pitched like a girl's, making him very embarrassed. Before they leave, McKenna sees Yuki and asks, "Aren't you the one who was with Cecilia? What are you doing here? Are you buying a gift for another girl and cheating on Cecilia?" Yuki tells her no. He is here to buy a gift for her. She notices that Raven also bought a gift and asks, "Who is your girlfriend that you are hiding from me?" As usual, Raven doesn't answer her because she is a bully. She asks them to go outside to talk a bit. Raven asks Yuki not to leave him and go with her, but the 3 of them sit together. McKenna keeps talking to them, but both of them are just eating and ignoring her completely. The sorceress gets annoyed and says she wanted to talk to him regarding Cecilia. Yuki immediately gets excited and tells her to go ahead and say what she wanted. She asks him how far he has gotten with her. He tells her they haven't gone out again since the last time they met, and all he knows is that she constantly received marriage proposals but always rejected them. McKenna tells him that all of this is because of yoga, as he always created provoking situations that made Cecilia hate all men. Additionally, he had many female admirers, so she felt all men were cheaters and would reject anyone who proposed to her, until one day she told him that he treats girls very badly. Finally, she warns Yuki, telling him he must be very careful in dealing with Cecilia. Then it is Raven's turn for her to speak to him, but Yuki speaks up and tells her he won't allow her to know anything about him. She asks, "Why do you treat me like I'm evil? Have you forgotten I am one of his team members?" However, Raven begins to write to her, saying that Yuki has done his duty and more by him, and he relies on him and doesn't want anyone else's help. She then starts telling them about her suffering with yoga because she loves him and he ignores her, saying it is all because of the Demon King's assistant, who gave them a severe beating every time they met and kicked them out of the Demon King's castle. She adds that he always used healing magic to treat them. Yuki, of course, hears this and stays silent, not wanting to tell her that he was the one doing that. She continues that one day, the Demon King's assistant asked to sit with Cecilia alone, and she was the reason Yoga was convinced to let Cecilia sit with the Demon King's vice commander. Since then, Yoga hates her and doesn't like speaking to her. She tells Yuki, "Take care. Your beloved Cecilia could have died with the Demon King's vice commander, and I would have been the cause." Immediately, Raven intervenes and speaks, telling Yuki not to be angry with McKenna because she intended the best for everyone. McKenna is surprised that Raven started speaking, hearing his voice for the first time. He says, "I should have spoken up and expressed my opinion at that time, but I was shy because of my voice." Yuki hears this and knows he is the cause of the destruction of the entire hero party. Yuki asks McKenna, "Have you tried talking to Yoga?" She says, "No, of course not. I haven't spoken to him because it's very obvious he hates me." He tells her, "On the contrary, you must speak to him. Maybe you can change his point of view about you later." McKenna is very happy that Yuki tried to help her and promises she will speak to Yoga again. After that, Yuki and Raven arrive at Cecilia's mansion so Yuki can see her. They meet Duke, who welcomes Yuki and asks about the person with him. Yuki tells him this is Raven. Duke realizes this is the one who loves happiness and went to confess to her. Duke keeps fighting with him, saying, "If you ever try to upset her or have bad intentions toward her, I will turn you into shawarma and potatoes." Raven doesn't reply because he is embarrassed by his voice. Duke assumes Raven is a coward and says he doesn't deserve happiness, and that happiness must be with someone brave. However, Raven finally gathers his courage and speaks, not caring about his voice. At that moment, Duke says, "That's the spirit. Now I can let you go meet her and talk to her." He actually goes to meet her and takes out the gift he brought. He is surprised that Happiness takes the gift with great happiness and was very pleased. Thus ends our summary for now, but the adventures of our hero Yuki are not over yet. The anime episode begins with Yuki sitting with Shik. Yuki appears sad because he wants to see Cecilia. Shik suggests they go to her mansion, but she isn't there. Yuki hasn't seen her for a week. According to Shik, all members of the hero's party are busy. Cecilia is traveling to different towns and villages to treat the wounded. Raven is the captain of the knights. Makana is the court mage, and Yuga handles diplomatic affairs and battles high-level monsters. Yuki hasn't had a chance to speak with her due to their constant work, and he wishes he could help them. He also mentions that Duke had joined the knights after being scouted by their captain. At that moment, Happiness enters and tells them that Cecilia will be home this evening. Yuki is overjoyed, realizing he will finally have a chance to give her the necklace. On his way, a fortune teller approaches him and warns him that he has very bad luck today. Yuki ignores her, certain that since he's going to see the girl he loves, the day will surely be wonderful. He goes to the sweets shop to buy her some treats, where he finds a young man working instead of his sister, the usual seller, who has other errands. Yuki buys some sweets, but he leaves angry because the seller accidentally crushed them while handing them over. As he walks, he bumps into a massive man, apologizes quickly, and hurries away to avoid trouble. At that point, he thinks about the fortune teller's words, realizing he might indeed be having bad luck. The streak is completed when Yuki bumps into a child, causing the child's grilled meat skewer to fall. The child starts crying loudly, so Yuki comforts him, buys him 2 skewers, and tells him to watch his step from now on. The child thanks him and leaves. Just as Yuki is about to leave, a man bumps into him and steals his money pouch. Yuki quickly chases after him and tackles him to get his money back. Yuga, the hero, arrives at that moment and mistakenly thinks Yuki is the one who stole from the man. Yuki tries to explain that it's his own money pouch, but Yuga doesn't believe him and attempts to attack. Yuki manages to evade him, but a large number of guards appear. Yuga orders Yuki to surrender and confess to the crime, then takes him to jail. In the prison cell, Duke comes to see him and asks what happened, saying Raven is currently investigating the facts. Yuki explains what occurred, insisting he is innocent. Just then, Irene arrives and tells Duke to return to training, as the vice captain is angry he left on his own. Duke ignores her and asks for the dungeon key, confident that the captain has finished the investigation and will surely clear Yuki. Irene confirms that Yuki is indeed innocent and that the hero, Yuga, wishes to apologize immediately. Yuki goes to Yuga, who has prepared a very long feast as compensation for what happened. Yuki eats the food, finds it delicious, and thanks Yuga. After they finish, Yuga mentions he heard Yuki is Raven's friend and that Raven severely reprimanded him after the incident, more harshly than ever before. Yuga then asks about Yuki's relationship with Cecilia, as he noticed them together once, and asks for advice on improving his own relationship with her. Yuki refuses, saying he only met her recently, and suggests he ask someone else. Raven suggests asking Makana, but Yuga refuses, believing Makana hates Cecilia because she once tried to leave Cecilia behind during a battle they fought together, though Cecilia luckily ended up fine. Yuki is shocked by Yuga's words and corrects him. He explains that he heard Makana's side. They were fighting a powerful demon they had failed to defeat multiple times. Yuga interrupts, saying he tried to refuse, but Makana told them they had to accept the deal, implying she wouldn't have said that if she didn't hate Cecilia. Yuki is surprised to hear Yuga thinks Makana abandoned Cecilia because she hates her, and tells Yuga that Makana cried a lot that day and felt regret. Yuki tells Yuga to remember what happened that day. Cecilia asked you to advance, but you made the final decision, and you are the hero, so don't blame your comrades. Take responsibility for your actions. If you can't do that, you are unfit. Crying, Yuga tells Yuki, everything you said is true, but it's not what you think. I wasn't the one who abandoned Cecilia. I've known Makana since childhood. She is a dedicated girl. She scolds me whenever I fail until I learn. She always stands by me and supports me. She never stopped, even after I was chosen to be the hero. I mistreated her. Yuki replies, she loves you and cares about you. That's why she scolds you. If this doesn't work, you must think of another way. Yuga thanks him and says he will go to her and apologize, but he lacks the confidence to go alone. The scene shifts to Makana's house, where Yuki is very angry that he had to come with Yuga. Yuga tells him to wait outside, then goes to Makana. Yuga apologizes, saying he realized he did something terrible and is always causing her trouble. He apologizes for blaming her for his decision to sacrifice Cecilia, which caused her pain, and asks her to forgive him and continue scolding him. Makana becomes angry and looks like she is about to hit him. The scene then transitions to Yuki running to reach Cecilia, passing several people along the way who apologize for the trouble they caused him. Yuki reaches Cecilia and gives her the cake and the skewers. Cecilia tells him she will make him tea because she asked Sophia to teach her how to prepare it, and she also learned to cook. Yuki tells her that Raven and Happiness have become friends, and he got to know Makana and Yuga, and he hopes their relationship succeeds. Yuga enters, followed by Makana, and tells Cecilia he realized his mistake, asking her to punish him. Makana hits Yuga and says, that's not why we came, you idiot. Yuki asks them what they are doing there. Makana apologizes to both of them, saying, we apologize for the interruption. We came to apologize. Anything I say will sound like an excuse. I left you behind. Cecilia asks, are you talking about what happened? They apologize for what they did. Cecilia tells them, if this is what worries you, there is no need to worry. Makana replies, but we abandoned you. You're our comrade. Cecilia tells her, you weren't the only one in danger. Fighting the Demon Lord without a healer must have been difficult. She has a flashback of them attacking the Demon Lord, which they managed to defeat. She tells Makana, your magic and strength were depleted, but you came to check on me. There was no other way at the time. She tells them they did nothing wrong. They are surprised by her words. She asks them, we are all alive, aren't we? They apologize to her once more. The scene moves to Cecilia and Yuki strolling in the garden. Cecilia asks, were you the one who advised them? Yuki replies, it seemed to me that things became confusing among you because of me, so I came up with this plan. Cecilia thanks him and tells him she is happy to have become closer to her family and friends, and it looks like he is blending into this world. Yuki gives her the gift, the necklace. She is surprised. He asks her if she will accept it, and she tells him she will treasure it. Cecilia talks to herself, saying, I feel like everything has become fun since I met Yuki. Thus ends today's episode. If you liked the video, press like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new content. The anime episode begins with Yuki, Cecilia, and Sheik traveling by carriage to help Cecilia rescue the people of a village. Yuki is very angry because he wanted to be alone with Cecilia. Cecilia apologizes for involving them in her affairs. Afterwards, she feels motion sickness. Yuki suggests they take a break, but Sheik gives her a potion, a brew made from a secret fairy recipe. When Cecilia takes the medicine, She thanks him, feeling much better. Sheik teases Yuki, saying that he is very useful on this trip. Cecilia laughs at them both but feels great comfort having them with her. They then arrive at the village after hearing that bandits had attacked it, and they find the village in a terrible state. At that moment, the village chief comes to them and welcomes them, as he did not expect Cecilia to come to their aid, but he did not know who was with her. Cecilia introduces them as her friends who also came to help, as they are skilled in healing. She asks the chief to be reassured by their presence. The chief indeed takes them to the villagers for treatment, and we see Cecilia and her friends doing their utmost. Afterwards, the chief speaks with Yuki about Cecilia, saying she is wonderful with them and that they were lucky no one had died. He then recounts that the bandits suddenly fled because someone appeared and defeated them. Yuki wonders who that person was, but when he turns around, he finds Cecilia completely exhausted from overusing her magic. He asks her to take a short break to regain her strength, but she refuses. He then uses his magic on her, making Cecilia fall asleep. Yuki asks the villagers to provide a place for her to rest. When she wakes up, Yuki apologizes for using magic on her to make her sleep without prior warning. He knows it was wrong to ignore someone's wishes, but it was also wrong for her to overexert herself. And if she had continued treatment that way, she would have fainted. Cecilia understands that he is right, but asks him not to do it again, then thanks him for his help. At that moment, the chief enters to check on Cecilia and apologizes, knowing she is exhausted, but he wants to tell her about a little girl named Teal, who lives on the outskirts of the town. He wants her to check on her. Teal was not attacked by the bandits, but has been sick since birth and is confined to her bed. Cecilia asks him to show her the way. When they go there, they introduce themselves and apologize for showing up unexpectedly, but the village chief asked them to visit her. Sheik then gives her the medicine, as he is knowledgeable about such things despite his appearance. When the girl drinks the medicine, she feels much better and thanks him for it. She then tells him that when the bandits attacked the other day, she fell asleep on her way back home, and no one could do anything to her. She also recounts that when she was 7, she thought her life was over due to the many monsters around her, but a great sorcerer saved her. Yuki and Cecilia feel that something is suspicious. Teal takes them to see the sorcerer. When they see him, Yuki understands that he resembles the gargoyle from the Demon King's castle. Suddenly, the demon tries to attack Yuki. Sheik rushes at him and manages to defeat him. Yuki asks him not to kill him because he wants to talk to him. They indeed sit down to talk. The demon thought they came to kill him. Yuki informs him that he was the one who attacked first. The demon apologizes, then tells them he heard they knew his identity and mentioned the Demon King's castle. Yuki asks him how a gargoyle like him became the protector of this village. He replied that he was originally made to be the guardian of a temple, but bandits stole him a long time ago, then attacked this village. So he punished them, and since then the villagers respect him. Only the girl, Teal, still comes to visit him almost every day since he saved her from those monsters. Every day since I saved her from those monsters, she cleans this little shrine for me. When I discovered the bandits attacked again, I made sure to protect her. I have no intention of harming humans or mingling with them in any way. I live here. After that, the scene shifts to the forest. Cecilia tells Yuki that Sheik went ahead to the inn because he was feeling sleepy. Yuki tells her that he is still a child, but the truth is, he asked him to return. We are alone now because I was wondering if there were any monsters here or not, but it seems he remained upset the whole time, so I think it's okay, Cecilia said. The presence of a monster in the village seems worrying, but it doesn't seem to bother the villagers. Yuki talks to himself, saying, I have no more words to say. I love her so much. He then tells Cecilia, walking at night is dangerous. They continue on their way. Suddenly, they hear a sound, and it is clear that there is danger in the village from bandits. We see them fighting everyone and taking all the money and food they find. Then Yuki arrives just in time. Cecilia says, we won't allow you to commit any more crimes. Sheik uses his power and hits them, being very strong. Yuki and Cecilia join the fight and kill them all in the blink of an eye. Yuki goes to Sheik. Then we see Miller attacking the good monster, the gargoyle, and Sheik. Yuki then learns that Miller is the hero of the Gallus Empire. Cecilia asks Sheik what happened. Sheik replies, the battle wasn't over. He came from behind while the gargoyle was protecting Teal, and I tried to protect them, but I couldn't. Miller says that any fool who defends a gargoyle will die because we must kill monsters. I will cut this little brat in half too, but Yuki informs him that the gargoyle is protecting Teal. Yuki stops him and uses his magic, but Miller cancels the spell. Cecilia says that Miller's weapon is a magic sword made by humans that devours magic and absorbs spells. Miller attacks the monster and cuts off its hand. Cecilia gets angry, saying, "Stop, please! If you injure a citizen of Clarines, it will lead to war." Miller replies, "War sounds excellent. I can enjoy killing when peace reigns over the world, but during war, I can kill as I please." Yuki uses his magic again, but Miller tells him that he is very weak despite all your shouting, and it didn't affect him at all. Try using something else. Yuki tried to defeat Miller with magic, but the magic had no effect on Miller. If Yuki used all his magic, he would be in trouble immediately. Yuki tried to use blazing plasma magic to overcome Miller, but the magic still didn't affect Miller. Yuki's magical power was impressive for a human, but he would die after it ran out. The magic succeeded in breaking Miller's sword. Yuki began to use Storm Blow magic, but Miller used another spell that was about to strike the demon. Teal stood in front of him and saved him. Miller said, "Exposing yourself to death in defense of a demon is a genius idea." Miller directed a magic arrow towards the sky to kill everyone, but Yuki saved them. Yuki became angry at himself because he thought everything was fine as long as he possessed strong magic. Yuki then transformed into a demon with wings to pursue Miller. Miller liked the idea of hunting a demon. Yuki confronts Miller because he severed one of his subordinates, the gargoyle's arms and wings, and all these crimes committed by Miller warranted killing him. Miller realized that the one he was facing was the gargoyle's master. Miller was surprised because he defeated the Demon King, so why was there still such a strong demon? But the Demon King did not die. Yuki then grabbed Miller and flew with him, and if Miller was lucky, he would return to his homeland. Then he dropped him into the sea. The scene transitions to Cecilia and Yuki. He asks her about everyone's condition. Cecilia tells him that everyone is safely sleeping. Cecilia sees blood dripping from Yuki's head, but he tells her he is fine. He just had his horn ripped off. Cecilia worried about Yuki and treated him with magic. The scene transitions to all of them in the house. Their friend wants to go to Minerva because she wants to find a way to treat the wounds of the Guardian King, the gargoyle. Healing magic cannot treat these injuries. Cecilia told her that monsters cannot enter Minerva, but Yuki had an idea: to change his appearance with earth magic, and his appearance would no longer be that of a monster. And this is how the anime episode ends. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all our new content. The anime episode begins in the darkness of night, where a mysterious group of 3 men appears wearing black robes and carrying a strange book. Their identity remains unknown. The following morning, we see Yuki wandering through the market, feeling incredibly bored. Although the ban period between him and Cecilia has ended, she is too busy to spend time with him. While walking, he runs into Karaman, who is on his day off and has come to the market to buy a gift for his girlfriend. Yuki decides to help him, but despite looking at many items, nothing catches Karaman's eye. At that moment, Yuki spots a long black coat and is instantly captivated, as owning such a coat has always been his dream. He also wished for a bat-themed helmet that covers the face, so he decides to try on the outfit. He then asks the merchant for a curved sword to complete the look. Once he sees himself, he is amazed because this is exactly the appearance he has long desired. Overcome with excitement, he asks Karaman to give him a mission immediately, promising to complete it in the blink of an eye. They head to the Adventurers Guild, where the receptionist is surprised to see Karaman since it is his day off. Karaman explains he is there for a simple matter, but when the receptionist sees the masked Yuki, she assumes Karaman has summoned a new Shikigami. Karaman denies this, explaining that this person is an old acquaintance to whom he will assign some lingering, bothersome tasks. The receptionist presents 4 A-rank missions, and Yuki requests to take all 4 at once. He begins his tasks immediately, encountering a massive dragon which he slays while helping the people however he can. As night falls, only 1 mission remains. 2 guards are shown patrolling the streets when suddenly a book appears before them, casting a spell that knocks them unconscious. The 3 individuals from the beginning, envy, jealousy, and heartburn, reveal themselves. They are the culprits behind the incident, aiming to rob the Valentine's Day chocolate warehouse. Just then, Yuki appears in his new attire and attacks, knowing they cannot escape. They mock him, and envy orders jealousy and heartburn to get rid of him. Jealousy attempts to strike, but Yuki uses his powers to shock her and then hits heartburn. Seeing this, Envy tries to use the book's magic on Yuki, but the spell fails. Yuki strikes back with his sword, though Envy remains unhurt. A nearby worker rejoices, realizing they will still be able to distribute Valentine's chocolates to the people the next day. Yuki is surprised to learn that people in this world also celebrate Valentine's Day. Soon after, the knights arrive along with Doc, Irene, and Raven, prompting Yuki to flee. Doc decides to inspect the area and stops near Yuki's hiding spot. He calls out, revealing he knows Yuki is there. Doc mentions he didn't realize how long Yuki had been a magic swordsman, but urges him to come to his senses, noting that while Yuki is trying to be more rational, since moving to the human city, he needs to calm down. The next morning, Yuki goes to the Adventurers Guild. Karaman gives him the reward for capturing Envy and his companions, who were B-rank adventurers that lost their minds after finding a strange book in a basement. They had claimed they would destroy Valentine's Day and began stealing cocoa and chocolate. The scene shifts to the kitchen, where maids are preparing chocolates for Cecilia to give to children at the orphanage. When Valentine's Day arrives, Yuki prepares to head out. Till arrives to give Char a gift, and then Yuki goes to the guild. He finds Karaman with a box of chocolates that everyone admires because Sophia made them herself. When Karaman tastes one and finds it delicious, he jokingly forbids Yuki from having any. Later, Yuki visits Doc just as Irene arrives to give Doc a gift, thanking him for his constant help with work. Doc accepts it warmly, telling her never to hesitate to ask him for advice. Finally, Yuki visits Raven and his girlfriend as she gives him a Valentine's gift. Yuki feels frustrated that he cannot join in like the others. He heads to the market and finds people standing in long lines, eager to buy Valentine's cakes and chocolates. We see Yuki wandering through the market, muttering to himself, "I can't wish anyone luck in their romantic endeavors today." He then notices a crowd gathered and asks himself, "What is this line?" Feeling annoyed by them, he encounters Mikana, welcomes her, and asks, "Are you going to stand in line too?" She replies, "I don't know. I'm not a skilled cook. Maybe I should just go home." Then Yuga arrives, apologizes to Mikana for being late, and greets Yuki. Mikana asks him, "What are you doing here? Everyone is waiting for you." He tells her, "But I wanted to get your chocolate first." She says, "But the result was strange again this time, so it's not delicious." He tells her he will take it anyway. Yuki is shocked by the chocolate. Mikana gives the chocolate to Yuga, and as he tastes it, she asks, "It's not tasty, is it?" He tells her it is delicious and adds, "I don't feel like it's Valentine's Day until I taste your chocolate, Mikana." Later, Yuki goes to the palace and says to himself, "I ended up here. I'm pathetic." Celia approaches him and mentions that Cecilia went to the city. Celia offers him chocolate, but he tells her he doesn't want chocolate from anyone except Cecilia. She asks, "Is my chocolate not good enough?" So he takes it and thanks her. Then Duke arrives and informs him that Envy has escaped from prison. The scene shifts to Cecilia giving chocolate to some children. Envy arrives with a massive monster, and the children flee in fear. Envy speaks about everything he suffered because of Valentine's blessings. The monster uses its power to take all the chocolate. Heartburn then speaks, "Inflict punishment on everyone who flatters others because of their beauty." A group of villains arrived with a monster, attempting to ruin Valentine's Day. Yuga tried to stop them, but one of the villains shouted, "Shut up! A handsome guy like you gets plenty of chocolate, so you don't understand our horrible feelings." The monster tried to kill Yuga and Mikana, but Yuki arrived just in time to stop it, ordering the rest of the team to take the townspeople to safety. One of the villains laughed and declared, "This is the end of Valentine's Day." Yuki halted them, and when one asked who he was, he told them to stop their senseless violence. He explained that he understood their feelings and might have done the same if his circumstances were slightly different. But it was wrong to let their rage explode just because they didn't receive chocolate. A villain retorted that Yuki's situation was no different and felt sure he hadn't received any chocolate either. Yuki replied that he had received some from his friend's mother. The villain mocked him, asking if admitting that felt meaningless, but Yuki insisted it wasn't. Yuki and the villains began to fight. One villain taunted him, saying there was no hope for him this Valentine's Day either. But Yuki declared he wouldn't give up his quest to get chocolate from the girl he loved by the end of the day. As the battle resumed, a villain asked if he really wanted the girl he loved to give him chocolate, and if getting it from someone unimportant was annoying. Yuki replied that as long as they prepared the chocolate with love, It would make him happy. One of the villains ordered the monster to gather all the chocolate in the city. Makana told the monster that the chocolate belonged to everyone and they didn't know what would happen if that thing were harmed. Yuki promised them he would get it back. Using his magic, Yuki successfully returned the chocolate to Cecilia, defeated the monster, and restored the treats to everyone. Yuga was surprised to find the opponent was a girl. She told him that some girls hate Valentine's Day because she remembered a friend telling her, "I don't want chocolate from a girl who looks like a boy." Yuga told her that wasn't true. She claimed he only said that because he was handsome, but Yuga insisted he would be happy to receive chocolate from any girl as long as it was made with love. Cecilia came to Yuki, praised his efforts, and offered him some biscuits. Yuki was overjoyed, but someone nearby mentioned how delicious they tasted. Yuki asked if he had received the same thing, only to discover that Yuki's box contained a cake. Everyone else felt sad because it wasn't fair for Yuki to get the cake all to himself. Yuki was thrilled that Cecilia gave the cake specifically to him. This is how the anime episode ends. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything new. The anime episode begins in the Adventurers Guild, where we see Yuki and Kramen. A message arrives from the Merchants Guild, informing them that trade shipments are being constantly stolen from merchant ships in the port city of Fremel. They request an investigation to catch the thieves and recover the stolen cargo if possible. They ask Yuki to take on this mission, and he agrees. However, he first goes to Cecilia to ask her to accompany him, but she refuses because she has important work to finish and cannot leave Minerva for several consecutive days. Yuki becomes very sad because he didn't check Cecilia's schedule in advance. As he leaves, Highness and then Raven arrive and offer to go with him to Fremel. When Raven learns that Highness wants to join, he gets annoyed because this is a mission they need to complete, not a leisurely trip. But Yuki insists on her presence, arguing that her powerful magic could be very useful in combat. Raven is unaware of Highness's full capabilities as they have only recently met. Afterward, they board a carriage and arrive in Fremel. Yuki suggests they split up. He will go meet the client to learn more about the mission, while Raven and Highness explore the city for information. This is Yuki's way of giving them time to talk privately. The client arrives and they inform him they are there on behalf of the Merchants Guild, asking what he knows about the ship thefts. He replies that he knows nothing, and if he did, they wouldn't be facing these difficulties. He explains that things are stolen even with guards present, and officials treat the sailors like thieves, but the sailors haven't stolen anything or hidden any secrets. He assures them that he and his men will answer any questions. He then calls over his sailor friends for Raven and Highness to question. Yuki then rejoins them. He asks Raven if he found any information, and Raven denies it, saying no one has any details about the thieves. Every ship was guarded the entire time, but no one remembers the moment the theft occurred. Yuki is puzzled by this. Raven continues, saying if the sailors were responsible, they would have fabricated a better lie. He mentions that some people reported their memories being cut off and hearing a sweet song, leading him to suspect the involvement of demons, specifically mermaids. Yuki secretly hopes to meet a mermaid. Yuki then calls over Highness and tells her he heard there is a mermaid nearby. The sailors panic, fearing they will all be devoured. They beg Yuki and his companions to eliminate the threat immediately. Yuki is confused by their intense fear, not knowing if mermaids are actually dangerous. They inform him that one mermaid has destroyed many ships and killed several humans, making the previously safe sea routes terrifying for them now. Raven steps forward, introducing himself as the commander of the Clarine's Knights. He states it is a knight's duty to protect people and vows to defeat the mermaid. Everyone is astonished that this young man is the knight commander from the Heroes Squad, expressing happiness at his presence and urging him to eliminate the demons. Yuki talks to Highness, noting that from a human perspective, demons and monsters are frightening. Highness mentions that the Demon King's army is invading humans. Raven returns, apologizing for the delay, saying he brought more paper and pens, But while shopping, he found someone who claimed to have seen a mermaid. Raven recalls a knight telling him that the sailors were hiding the shipment in a small bay outside the city, and there was a mermaid inside, suggesting they investigate. He then asks Highness to wait, emphasizing that demon activity is dangerous, recalling a time when demons devastated a village and he couldn't save many lives. As a knight, he must protect people and assures her he will defeat the mermaid. Highness refuses to stay behind and goes with him. Yuki tells Raven that Highness is stronger than she appears. They go to the location and find a description of the stolen cargo. The bay is very small and cannot fit a boat. Suddenly, the mermaid emerges and sings at the top of her voice. They plug their ears. Yuki thinks to himself that if he lets his guard down, he'll fall asleep in an instant. We then see Highness use her song to cancel out the mermaid's melody. Yuki uses his magic, and rocks emerge from the water to shield the mermaid. Raven rushes forward, intending to kill her. The mermaid cries out, "No more! I'm not asking for death, but I need your help! Humans captured my friend and she hasn't done anything wrong! I want you to save her!" Raven responds, "I won't be fooled by those demonic lies!" Highness steps in front of the mermaid to stop Raven from attacking, refusing to move. Highness tries to defend the mermaid, but Raven orders her to step away and not protect a demon. Yuki asks Raven to lower his sword for the moment. Raven asks if Yuki is siding with the demon. Yuki replies, "No. If she attacks humans, she must be eliminated. I won't spare anyone who harms me or my friends." Raven lowers his sword. Yuki asks Highness if she is okay and tells her to inform them if anything happens. The mermaid asks if they believe her. Highness replies, "Yes." Yuki introduces himself as the adventurer Yuki. Highness asks Yuki if he injured his head. Yuki assures her he is completely lucid and trying to ease the tension. The mermaid tells them her name is Shiki. Yuki asks why she tried to put them to sleep. She explains a human ordered her to. Mermaids usually avoid humans, but one day, she and her friend Misaki were playing and got caught in a sudden storm, ending up in human hands. The human told Shiki that if she wanted her friend to survive, she had to do as he asked. Back in the present, Shiki tells Yuki she had to obey the human's orders and sang to hypnotize the people on the boats. Yuki comments that she doesn't seem to be lying. Raven warns him not to be deceived by appearances. Highness asks Raven if he doesn't believe her. Raven says he can never trust a demon. Highness tells him to trust her, as she trusts the mermaid. Raven agrees, saying he will start a new investigation based on what she said. Scene transition. Yuki, Highness, and Raven stand in front of several crates. Highness declares, "These are fake, left here for show." Raven concludes, "So the thief spread false information to lure their pursuers here, intending for the mermaid to put them to sleep to eliminate them." Yuki angrily exclaims, "What? We could have been killed!" Raven says, "That's a roundabout method for a demon." Yuki asks Shiki if she knows where the thief is. Shiki apologizes, saying her eyes were covered during transport, so she doesn't know. Raven speculates that if his guess is correct, the thieves will arrive here soon. Scene transition. A group of thieves appears. One says, "I didn't expect to attract the attention of the Knight Commander." Another suggests, "Maybe it's time for us to move to another island." Raven approaches them. One says to Raven, "Commander, it's a pleasure to see you well. We were worried and came to check on you." Raven asks, "Are you the thieves?" One replies, "What? Your voice sounds strange." Raven calls them fools, stating, "You and I are beneath that mermaid. At least she cares about her friend and didn't kill you, but you will be judged by the law." The fight begins. We see Raven fighting the thieves and managing to defeat them. As some attempt to flee, Yuki intercepts them, shouting, "You dared to exploit a mermaid, you scoundrels! I'll end your story!" Highness joins Raven, offering to fight alongside him. They use their combined strength to defeat the remaining thieves. One thief confesses, "You misunderstood. That mermaid controls us." Raven asks, "Where is the mermaid's friend?" They then find a moving crate, from which the friend emerges. Yuki asks, "Are you the mermaid Misaki?" She explains she can transform her fins into legs but cannot use her powers when she does so. Misaki goes to Shiki, who expresses fear for her safety. Misaki asks, "Do you think I would die that easily?" She then thanks Yuki, Raven, and Highness for rescuing her. Yuki tells her not to underestimate the danger. Shiki thanks them for saving Misaki, saying, "We owe you our lives." Misaki offers to sing a song to express her gratitude. Shiki and Misaki begin to sing, astonishing the heroes. Highness joins them in song. Yuki tells them to be careful not to be captured by villains again. Raven approaches Shiki, apologizing for trying to kill her when she was innocent. They bid farewell to the two mermaids decades. And thus, today's episode concludes. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all new content. The anime episode begins with Yuki in his room, accompanied by Teal, who has come to deliver a message from Cecilia. Yuki thanks Teal profusely for coming, even though it is her day off. He then asks her to rest there, while he steps out briefly. When Yuki leaves, Teal greets her guardian with great enthusiasm, having strictly adhered to the required time and place and maintained her composure as requested. She informs him that she has brought some magic stones that he likes, urging him to take as many as he wishes without hesitation, as she works hard to always provide them for him. The conversation with Cecilia and Doc's advice. The scene shifts to Yuki visiting Cecilia. They discuss Tiel and her great affection for the guardian, Gar. After finishing their talk, Yuki leaves Cecilia and runs into his friend Doc to ask for some romantic advice. As Doc knows, Yuki can use the vanishing spell to become invisible. After bidding farewell to Cecilia, he was curious to see what she was doing at that moment, so he used the spell and entered her room. He found her training with Siku, unaware of the immense effort she was putting in. This worried him as he felt he didn't truly know the girl he loved. Doc became angry, telling Yuki that he could be arrested for illegal entry and stalking. Despite admitting his love for Cecilia, he wasn't taking enough initiative. In Doc's view, Yuki was too cowardly, and if he truly wanted to be her companion for tea forever, he needed to make some progress in their relationship. Makana's arrival and Cecilia's past. At that moment, Makana enters. Doc seizes the opportunity and asks her to tell Yuki about Cecilia, as she knows her well. Makana sits down with Refine to tell Yuki everything about Cecilia. Makana explains that the hero party had no real existence without Cecilia. There was a problem with the women constantly gathering around Yuga, which caused major issues among them, and Cecilia always calmed things down. They had divided the party's tasks. Yuga was in charge of cooking, but every time he went to gather ingredients, he always ran into trouble. So Cecilia and Makana handled scouting and information gathering, since their swordsman was useless. Cecilia also managed their finances. Despite Yuga being useless and causing accidents, he was kind-hearted. Yuki asks Makana to stop talking about Yuga and to tell him about Cecilia. Makana mentions that Cecilia used to have the same nickname she has now, which confuses Yuki. Just then, Cecilia enters, looking for Makana because she wanted to talk about old memories. She takes Makana, and they leave. Refine then apologizes to Yuki, saying he shouldn't have revealed Cecilia's nickname. Yuki dismisses this, as it helped reveal one of Cecilia's sensitive points. Refine then asks Yuki to accompany him somewhere if he is free. Refine takes him to the orphanage where Cecilia often volunteers. When the young children see them, they rush to greet Refine, calling him the merciless hero. Refine gives them their favorite sweets, hero nicknames, and a new plan. As they head back home, Refine explains to Yuki that he earned the nickname Merciless because he doesn't speak during battles, leading some to see him as a man of great mercy who doesn't bleed or cry. He also tells Yuki that Yuga is nicknamed the Wandering Hero. Makana's nickname is the Eternal Guardian Friend, and Cecilia's nickname is the Saintly Mother, but she dislikes it. Refine admits he cannot tell Yuki why she dislikes it, but is sure Yuki will learn more going forward and that opportunities will arise. Yuki decides he needs to get to know Cecilia better to grow closer to her. Refine suggests that Yuki should take on a quest with her so he can get closer to her. Yuki is delighted by this suggestion, as it fits the trope where the hero bravely saves the heroine when she's in trouble, inevitably leading to her falling in love with him. The Undead Quest. The next morning, Yuki finds a quest to share with Cecilia, and she agrees. Yuki decides he will show her what he can do during this quest. At that moment, Makana arrives because Refine had an urgent matter come up and couldn't join them. Yuki tells Makana he has a plan. Makana asks him to share it so she can evaluate it. Yuki explains his quest is to eliminate some undead who have made a ruined castle their lair. Makana is not impressed by this idea. Although it would be a good opportunity for Cecilia to shine, Yuki forgot that Cecilia is a priestess, and dealing with the undead is her specialty. His problem is that he plans everything around himself, and he needs to put Cecilia first. Makana suggests that she and Cecilia can be the main fighters today, and she will support them, emphasizing they need to work together to defeat the enemy, as trust is built by listening to each other. Just then, Cecilia arrives, apologizing for being late and mentioning she brought happiness with her. Inside the castle, they move to the castle where the undead are located. Yuki lays out the plan. He and Cecilia will take the front line, while Makana and Happiness guard the rear. They enter the castle, and Cecilia takes the lead, showing no fear of the ghosts. A group of undead approaches, and Cecilia uses her power to crush them quickly. Another group arrives, and Yuki takes charge, using his magic to restrain them. Cecilia finishes them off using the Holy Circle spell, a fundamental spell for any priestess that enhances her magic's effectiveness. Yuki reminds her to stay hydrated. They reach the final room, which is packed with a massive number of undead, a rare sight gathered in such a confined space. They are certain the boss will be here. When Yuki opens the door, they find the Lich King. He appears significant with a crown. Yuki wonders about his power, and Cecilia replies that the Lich King's strength isn't much different from a regular undead, but he is smarter. Confronting the Lich King, Yuki and the team enter the room where the Lich King sits. Crowned and appearing important, Cecilia reiterates that his strength is only slightly greater than a regular undead, but he is much smarter. Yuki addresses him. Now, undead, who has taken another's home without permission, we will send you back to the world of the dead. The Lich King demands to know who they are, and is angered by the intruders. Makana informs him that his comrades will not be coming, and Yuki clarifies that he is the last remaining undead. Yuki begins to confront the Lich King, knocking the crown off his head, revealing he is just an ordinary skeleton. Happiness calls him trash, and Yuki tries to brush it off as a joke, which Happiness deems rude. Yuki asks for a moment to explain. The Lich King takes the crown, puts it back on his head, and rages at Yuki for daring to do that. Yuki and the Lich King fight again, and the Lich King loses once more. Makana tells Yuki that this is an act of nobility on the king's part. The king offers them the crown, admitting defeat. Yuki tells Cecilia it seems he has abdicated the throne, and asks her to use the Holy Circle to finish this quickly. Cecilia asks the Lich King why he is so attached to that shabby crown. He replies it was dear to him. He doesn't know why, but it was very important. Cecilia suggests, perhaps you were once the king of a living land. She tells him, I will send you to the world of the dead with your crown, and uses her magic to send him away. Makana tells Cecilia she shouldn't use such advanced magic. Yuki confirms that they have eliminated all the undead. Makana asks if they should return home. Yuki tells Makana and Happiness, since they didn't do anything, why don't they go check the surroundings of the castle? They leave, and Yuki tells them, we'll meet at the carriage. Yuki asks Cecilia, should I help you stand or should I carry you on my back? Cecilia apologizes and asks Yuki to support her. Yuki tells her she used a lot of magic. Cecilia explains she wasn't sure if he would take his crown with him. Yuki remarks that he seemed happy. While they are talking, Cecilia stumbles and Yuki supports her. He then lifts her and tells her not to worry. He will walk as fast as possible so they won't be seen. Interlude and evaluation. A scene shift shows Makana and Happiness finding Yuki and Cecilia. Makana asks why they are so far apart from the others. Another scene shift. Yuki orders the carriage to stop, announcing they are getting off here. Yuki, Makana, and Happiness disembark, and Yuki says goodbye to the others in the carriage. Yuki asks Makana for her evaluation. Makana replies, I remember. Yuki tells her to just tell him. Makana says there is no evaluation, apologizing that she cannot rate what happened. Yuki asks if she means it wasn't worth evaluating. She replies no, but it's better not to. She advises him, don't overthink everything, just give it your all. Yuki finds this vague. Makana insists it's the best advice she can give, and tells him she's going home before leaving, realizing she needs to put in more effort herself. The Saintly Mother nickname. Final scene with Yuki and Cecilia. Cecilia asks him, I heard you visited the orphanage. Tell me about the children. And since I discovered you know my nickname, I must ask you not to call me that, please. Yuki replies, I won't do anything that bothers you, but may I ask why? If she doesn't want to answer, that's fine. When you started talking to the Lich King, you showed great solemnity. It reminded me of that time in the Demon King's castle. It reminded me of a saint, truly. I felt like a saint was reaching out her hand to me. Cecilia says, I will tell you why I was nicknamed the Saintly Mother. It's a famous story, so it's better if you don't hear it from someone else. She recalls someone once saying to her, well done, Cecilia. You handle cooking, sewing, gathering information, and managing money. You're like a mother. Cecilia explains that from then on, people started calling her mother in front of others. Cecilia gets angry at Yuki because he is laughing so hard. The episode ends here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all new content.